Oh, well, my name is Carmencita Garcia, and I'm Menchi for short. I live in Hercules, California. I enjoy gardening, crochet, sewing, shopping, or just plain walking around the mall. And I'm employed as a legal assistant at a wonderful law firm in San Francisco. I am a naturalized citizen from the Philippines, and I have a large family that my husband Roger used to tell us that we do not need to invite anybody. Just our family alone is already a big party. But we only have one son, and I have three granddaughters, a 12-year-old twins, and an 8-year-old. So those are the ones that keep me company. Well, we know Roger was at risk of developing cancer as he had siblings suffered and died of cancer, but not with liver cancer. And well, we know that he is really something will come out, but not liver. That's what we we all have. And but then he was first diagnosed with liver cancer when he had this annual physical in 2010, the spring of 2010, and they discovered a big mass on his liver. And they said it's suspicious. They're not sure yet, but well, eventually it was discovered it's cancer. And it's really hard because it's just like cancer is a death sentence. That's we thought about it. But when when you have faith, like I know this is not my time yet. My husband kept on, it's not my time yet. It's not my time yet. And I said, yes, it does. And we found a good. The doctors are very good too, because they became close friends to us eventually. He was very, very vocal and tell us the truth, what we face and what we expect. And I like that because at least we know when we come home, we know what we learn. When the news came in, I was really numbed. I don't know what to say, but I just, the first thing that I have in my mind, I wasn't even saying it vocally, but I said I offered it to God, and I said, if I know that you can cure this, and I know that you don't want him to be out from me yet. So, but then it's really sad, and but deep in our hearts, we know we're strong. We were both determined to fight it. He underwent treatment in Stanford, and he was under the care of Dr. Daniel C. for almost 8 years. Dr. C was a great doctor, and he became a very, very good friend with us. He calls us even in the middle of the night to check how he's doing, even when, because he goes to China once a year, like for, for treating people. And he would call us from there and said, we are going to make this, we are going to make this. And he is the one who told us that medicine will not be the only one that could cure you. It's your determination to fight it. And I believe in that one. So never did I think that that I will be my husband's caregiver. I thought he will be the one taking care of me. Well, he was so proud. He was a very strong man. He was very proud. And he think of himself that he protects his family. He protects his wife, his children, his grandchildren. But not this thing. I was not prepared at all to see him suffer. I had moments of sadness, but I never gave up and never did let him know of how I feel, my worries. I never showed it to him. I know he feels it, that I'm worried, but I never showed it to him. I was always happy, and I always treat him the way I treated him before he gets sick. If we have different opinions, I fight with him, even when sick, because If I don't, he will think that I'm pitying him. That's the worst thing to show to a patient or to somebody who is sick, to pity him. I don't want to be pitied when I'm sick. So I never let him feel that I pity him. I was helpless. My heart was breaking, but I cannot show it to him that my heart is breaking. I found my sister's shoulders to cry when I want to cry. And I wish I could do something to make him well, but there's nothing I can do but pray. It's just like a dagger. When there's a dagger on your head, that's swinging on your head, that you know one day it will fall, that you don't know when it's going to fall there. And it's really, but I always have to, I tried to divide like my my worries on one side and make it happy on the other side. I tried to have that and say, okay, I would give him stories. He knows he usually tell me, I know when you talk a lot that you're hiding something, and he knows I was hiding my real feelings. I tell him stories whatever he's done. Oh my God, I'm telling you, it's really really sad. I don't know what to tell you. Well, it made me realize and accept that we are borrowed lives. We are only here. It's just like a passing one. We're passing here and go to the next level. We have to enjoy every moment with the people we love because someday we will not see them anymore. There's no point in saying I love you when they're already gone. They will not hear it anymore. They cannot respond it to you anymore. So while we are still strong on earth, healthy and strong, enjoy the moments with every moment that we can with our loved ones. Make memories to hand down to our children and grandchildren, the future generations. They will be remembering it and talking about it. Say, a few years ago, this is what my grandma was. Don't give up. Be kind and understanding. Let your patient or loved one feel that you care and love him or her too. And don't show pity because pity is the worst enemy of somebody who is sick. But confidence that everything will be all right. For me, as a practicing Catholic, my strong faith in God helped me with the journey I experienced, especially during the period Roger was suffering with that liver disease. I know God answered our prayers that He let Roger stay with us longer than um, the doctors thought. He fought it. He considering his disease, his diagnosis. They didn't expect him to last that long. And people and doctors are amazed that he survived that long period of almost 8 years. When he had his last few days, it was at ICU, and they can believe it. My family and I were focused with Roger's liver treatment that we're not able to connect with ALF when Roger was still with us. When Roger passed away in December of 2017, that my sister research start looking about getting involved about a place that I can go for like for a group that I might be able to help me for grieving. And she found the ALF. She thought it will be a good organization to be involved in, and her keeping Roger's memory alive. This is also a good place to share the knowledge I've learned as a caregiver about liver disease. The annual ALF walk in San Francisco also helped us and my family cope with our grief. The first one we did was in in the summer of 2018. That was the year after Roger died. He died in 2017. And our plan is to continue to be involved with ALF and ALF walk in our lifetime. The unfortunate part is that during the later part of Roger's illness, my doctor was monitoring me for having a fatty liver. And I'm currently educated by ALF with regard to this type of disease. I feel like I'm getting wealth of information about liver disease, and I feel so blessed about it. Because at the time when they said fatty liver, there's no treatment, I said, oh, okay. I didn't realize through our involvement with ALF, I learned that fatty liver could go into cancer if neglected. So we are really, we actually have formed our own group. It's Mabuhay Rogelio Garcia, RIP, we love you. We are going to do our best to walk during our lifetime and hope to pass it on to the other generations.